I'm recording. Yay. Yeah, nothing blew up. I was intending to test everything out because I just upgraded my computer to Big Sur, my Mac. And
Ooh.
yeah, this was not a good idea, but fingers crossed, everything's going okay right now. All right.
And
Doug, we are
now from
broadcasting.
his from his basement somewhere in Fort Collins, Colorado, it's Stuart Yoshida of the OokTown Podcast. Stuart Yoshida and the OokTown Podcast. Somewhere in there.
Awesome. Welcome, patrons and listeners. This is Stuart Yoshida, host of the OokTown Podcast, and that's my co-host, Doug Brown, doing his famous introductory song, which he figures out every week just before the show starts, I believe. Is that right, Doug? Would you say so?
No, I spend weeks. The moment that this podcast ends, I start getting ready for the next one.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Doug. You've been along for the ride right there for over 10 years, even though we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the OokTown Podcast. Oh, sad news, Doug. I can't find the original recording we did in 2009. I don't know what happened.
That's probably for the best.
It's probably for the best, but kind of for historical purposes. What happened was, I wish I could say my dog ate the disk drive, but no, the disk drive died, and I recovered it, and I recovered most everything on it. And this was, I don't know, several months ago. However, I don't think that survived for whatever reason, but maybe it'll turn up someday. So the whole point is, welcome to episode 100 of the OokTown Podcast.
Yay!
Yay! And we've been podcasting for 10 years. That is insane. I don't know how we did it. I didn't. And we're going to do a double dip. We're going to have a celebration this Sunday, and then also next Sunday. And on this show, I am honored to have on the show a guest that I've had on. Actually, I'm so sorry. I think we haven't had you on in a while, but is Lucy Laforge, who is a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. Welcome back.
Yay!
Uh-oh, she froze. That is amazing. I spoke her name and she froze. Well, Lucy, are you there?
Yes, indeed.
Nice. Woo.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, I thought we thought we lost you there.
I just had to make a re-entrance, apparently.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, do you remember the first time you were on the show? What happened there? You were a trooper. You were, I believe, coming back from Coachella. Gosh. And you were like hiding in your jacket because there was so much noise in the van or whatever you were in. And I was like, wow, how are you even connected? You're like somewhere out in the desert. Where were you anyway? Somewhere between Coachella and, I don't know, Las Vegas, something like that. Oh, she froze up again. Oh, no. You're back.
Oh, no, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. We're here. I was coming back from a South by Southwest tour, and I was in a band with two other bands. So, yeah, it was a challenge, but I was so excited to be on the show. I was like, we're going to make it work. We're going to find Wi-Fi somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Hold on. Awesome. You have to give a trigger warning if you're going to say South by Southwest. Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's fair.
Old memories from South by Southwest that I'm not sure I wanted to relive. So.
Now we're going to have to ask you about that. So thank you for jumping in. That's Aaron Keim of Bean Sprout. Is it Bean Sprout ukuleles?
Bean Sprout Musical Instruments.
Bean Sprout Musical Instruments, part of the Quiet American, with his wife, Nicole. And he shared with us prior to the show, I'm sorry you guys missed it, but a picture of his son wearing a tortilla mask, which was pretty awesome.
I could show it again though, right? Because that's
okay, sure. And then we're gonna have to warn our podcast listeners that you're gonna have to watch the YouTube to really get the whole effect.
Here's the tortilla mask from dinner last night.
It's awesome.
So good.
Wow.
And by the way, he was wearing so that's a bathrobe, a tie-dyed shirt, and a tortilla mask.
Wow.
That's like.
It's a good look.
Yeah.
That is a good look, and that is amazing. So thank you for bringing that up. But you have some memories of South by Southwest that you don't want to share. Is that right?
I just mean it's like all those years of being a musician, and they're like, "Oh, it's for exposure. You should go do that." And it's how many times did I do stuff like that? Where I'm sure good things came from those things, but like when I like look back at my 21-year-old self, I just want to like yell, "Stay home and practice."
Right.
The first time we went to South by Southwest, we drove from Denver. And I had a really bad cold, and I like fell asleep outside of Denver in the van, and I woke up in Texas, and the elevation had changed by a few thousand feet, but my ears hadn't popped because of my bad cold.
Wow.
And then we got all the way to Austin, and in Austin, my ears still didn't pop for the whole trip. We were at South by Southwest. So I was walking around with like splitting headaches and ear things because of that, and then it only got better when we got back in the van and drove back up to Denver, and it went away.
Now, there's a couple things about that I want to know. First of all, were you driving?
No.
Good. Second, if you're a musician, you know that playing music with your ears plugged up is one of the hardest things you can do because you can't hear yourself, and it is so like you're like on flying blind. Yeah, I had to play at my sister's wedding, and my ears were plugged up till just before I was supposed to go to the wedding, and then it cleared up. So yeah, I was like sweating bullets. So good on you. And yes, someone mentioned it on the show, but I wish I had heard this phrase before as a musician, but this person said to me, the comeback is people die of exposure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not always good. So, and Lucy, have you had that too, where you've, lots of exposure offers to play at different venues, and sometimes it's good, but usually there's no green room access or anything like that. It's more like, bring your own meals. Hope you have all your own equipment. Oh no, Lucy froze up again.
Oh dear.
Is it the internet? And
Yes,
she's back.
And being dramatic.
Oh no, she's freezing up again. Okay. Oh, Lucy, I hope it's is it I don't know what's going on. Is there something sunspots? It could be the metric system, sunspots. Is it Los Angeles? We can see and hear you now.
Can you hear me out?
Yeah, everyone's and then you freeze up. Yes, we can hear you, and then it freezes up, and then it goes again.
Okay, maybe we'll try just.
Yes.
Oh,
it might
better?
be. Yes. That
Great.
was
okay. We'll do that for now.
Good call.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
No, this would be like old times when you were first on the show, right? Because we didn't have. I don't know. Were we doing Skype at that time? What were we doing, Doug? I don't even remember.
I think we were doing Skype, but I don't think anybody had a camera.
Yeah. So this is the first time we've had Lucy on the show. And so, we're going to have you back, Lucy, when the internet connection is better. But you sound fine.
Oh, definitely. Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Aaron, you have a special place on the show because you were on the 5th anniversary podcast. So thanks for hanging in there.
Yeah.
And still being willing to be on the show.
Oh, sure.
And are you in full swing now with the Bean Sprout musical instruments? How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, we've been back to doing just Bean Sprout since 2017 or so.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much full swing. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I think last time I was on the show, we were kind of in transition. But I used to work for Miyamoe Ukuleles. Since then, Gordon and Shar retired and they sold the business to Carrie, who lives in Chicago. So there's a different gentleman running Miyamoe. And that's when Nicole and I decided to do our own thing here.
Cool. Yeah, good on you. I still see you sharing pictures on Twitter about your instruments. What do you have? What's your latest one you want to show?
I have one that's going to a customer tomorrow. So I thought I would show that.
Yes.
So this is a size of ukulele that I call an alto ukulele. It's between the size of a soprano and a concert.
Okay.
I like it because when I first got started, I noticed that only a small percentage of people wanted the smaller size instruments. Tenor tended to be the most important one.
Yes.
But I wanted a good small size instrument that kind of met all the needs. So I found this one kind of gives you the kind of that old time sparkle of a soprano, but it's got a little bit bigger with some modern features that's a little more playable than the little tiny sopranos. So this one's got some cool curly myrtle on the back and sides.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah. And
you already got the button on there. That's nice.
Oh, sure. Of course.
That's pretty.
And then it's got a Porterford cedar top. And I really like this pistachio head plate and fretboard.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's all
beautiful.
That's all woods from Oregon and California. That's what they're paying the big bucks for, right? To watch me tune a ukulele.
The tuning song. Everybody loves that.
I'd rather have that than not, for sure. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it turned up
really nice. That's a nice bright sound, but it's not overly. I mean, not that. This is the internet, so it's hard to gauge. That's awesome. Did you do you put in pickups every once in a while, or is it mainly?
Yeah, if somebody asks for it, yeah. But it just depends. Some people don't really need it.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Well, that's awesome.
And to compare, I've been doing my homework lately. Like this is a Nunez instrument from like 1917. So that's the size of an old soprano.
No, I mean, wait. Is that a real Nunez?
Yeah. Well, it's made by him or one of his sons in their factory. But
right, but I mean, still,
wow.
that is like the original. I mean,
that's so cool.
That's old school.
But by this time, he was shipping instruments all over the world and all over West Coast. So the biggest dealers in Los Angeles, and it even says right in here, Southern California Music Company.
No way.
So by this time, it's a factory where they're putting out,
wow,
thousands of instruments maybe a year of these little basic ones. But that's the size of like an old soprano. This is the size of my alto.
Wow. Yeah. And what's the scale length?
This is 14.75.
Okay.
So just under a concert, and this is original would be 13.
Nice.
This is actually a customer of mine who I built an instrument for, and I was at his house and I noticed it and just asked if I could bring it back for measurement and photographs and just to check it out. It's
wow. Okay.
Probably 1917.
Well, that's got to be worth something.
Wow.
That's like antique kind of thing. That's cool. Wow. And now that we got Lucy, I think you're solid, right? I think you're rock solid now. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Lovely picture. I love the picture.
Okay.
That you put up. So good. And we'll have you back on the show so we can have you live. You have a new single out, Roller Coaster. That is awesome. How is that going? How's the music biz going in Los Angeles, especially during this pandemic? It sounds like it's been pretty rough.
Oh, it's weird. It's LA is a city that people move to because there's so many opportunities to meet other people. and the kind of reason to be in LA, because I personally, I don't love the city, but it's a great place to meet people, and it's a great place to kind of pursue your dreams alongside other people with similar dreams. So to have the whole city, shut down this year and to be so isolated has been really a change. Yeah. But I mean, I've really kept my online community. So I've had that, and it's just been, a weird year overall. But.
Yeah. And, I think that people who had an online presence, that was really a lifeline, I think, which was good to have that. And, I'm still so looking forward to getting back to being able to see people and not worry about staying 6 feet apart. And, and by the way, so you had your shot and knocked you for a loop. Was that the first shot or is it the second one?
So that was the second one. Just got the second one. The first one also, I was out for a couple days though. So I think I might just be one of those sensitive people. But yeah, both of them kind of got me. But the second one really got me. I'm very grateful for it, but I had no idea I would be out for so long.
Wow. I've heard a lot of people that, and especially the second shot. I know this is this show will be dated because they will understand. Oh yeah, that's during the pandemic. So Aaron, did you get? How are you guys doing? Shots?
Nicole and I both have our first shots, and we get our second ones this week.
Oh, nice, awesome.
Very
and
good.
Doug, I know you had a bonus because over there at the event center, you were there for. Like a bonus. What were they doing there for the
So they
vaccines?
were doing. They did 5,000 people in a day, and
wow.
The Thursday, it was a Saturday event, and the Thursday they said, "Hey, we have people that haven't given injections before. Do we have any volunteers?"
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah. And I went out there, and the lady said, "Which arm would you like it in?" And I said, at this point, I would take it in my eye. So,
Oh.
But yeah, the second one, I got sick, but it was like that kind of flu-ish feeling, like if I had a gig, I would go to work. Right. But not anymore, because now you can't go to work when you don't feel good. But yeah, we're all, and actually, my son Ian, who's 16, just got his first shot today.
Wow.
Excellent.
So our entire family at least has one of them. So just a month until we all get better cell coverage because of the chip that we have in us.
Right.
So,
that's the spirit.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that chip that Bill Gates was at, right? That's the rumor. We're all being chipped by Bill Gates. That's awesome. Well, RF technology, that's great. We can just go through the checkout and they'll just scan us. We don't have to take out our credit cards or anything. I don't know. This could be a positive for everybody.
Well,
it could be fun.
Did you see the when you were going through the list of the old OokTowns that Aaron's podcast was titled Ukulele, not Pandemic, but what was it?
Yeah, I know. Was that the one with Andy Andrews?
Yes. And this joke was going to go so much better when I knew it right off the top of my head. But right. I can tell you, podcast. I can't even type.
Wow, it's amazing you can even see with that parrot head on, Doug.
Oh yes, ukulele outbreak.
Ukulele outbreak. It was prescient. That's right. It was a very, not in a good way either.
Oh,
exactly. But,
yeah.
Well, and then Lucy, I believe that yours was episode 40. So you were on the episode right before. You guys missed each other by a month.
Wow. Oh man.
Well, if you're around long enough and the show sticks around long enough, yeah, we'll get you on a show with hopefully everyone.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, Los Angeles. Man, they that I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that they're just having so much problems getting all of the vaccines out. But maybe I'm just hearing the news, and who knows. Is it pretty easy now to get the vaccine, Lucy?
It's actually very, very easy to get it right now, and they're doing thousands of people every day. It's a drive-through, which makes it kind of nice because you can be in your car and listen to podcasts as you wait.
Absolutely.
But the wait wasn't too long. I was in and out within an hour and a half, maybe. They do make you sit in your car and wait after you get it just to be safe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of nice driving around Dodger Stadium and.
Is that where it was? That's cool.
That's where it was. Yeah, so that was nice, and to see so many people piling in to get it was reassuring.
Okay, good.
So I think here in Denver they now have like a fire hose that you drive through and they spray it in your window as you're driving along on the highway. It's a lot more efficient that way.
That would be great, but I think they'd be slinging vials and needles at you. But yeah, no, we don't want that. Yeah, I did the drive-through. I do like the drive-through.
Yeah.
And except for my arm was sore for a couple of days, and I did have a slight headache, kind of that I'm gonna get sick feeling, but then it went away. Yeah, but I'm not looking forward to the second one because a lot of people say the second one is the one that gets you.
Apparently it affects women more than men. That's what
really?
That's what I read in some articles. So I don't know if that's true, but from what I've heard, it seems to.
Okay, that's
just
interesting.
Drink lots of water, lots of Gatorade.
Yeah, I'm just gonna plan it so that the couple days after that, I'm not doing anything.
Perfect.
I think that's probably what I'm gonna try and do. Well, let's get back to the podcast. Although this is all good material, we already kind of reminisced about the OokTown podcast that you're on, and I did want to say for Aaron, one of the trivia questions we were going to put on there is kind of the Jeopardy one. He was involved in the very first Denver Ukulele Festival. In fact, I think was one of the bigger advocates of there. And the answer is, who is Aaron Keim?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that a true statement?
I would say that I would be an unofficial instigator.
Right.
Because really what was happening is that's right when Michael Schenkelberg came to Swallow Hill. And Michael had noticed that there had been other cool ukulele events around. And so he met us backstage at the Boulder Theater. And he was like, oh, hey, you guys want to have a ukulele festival? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he goes, how do you do that? And who should we hire? And I was like, well, here's the other ones I've been to. I was like, here's how other people do ukulele festivals. Here's other people I've worked with that I think are neat. And so at least for the first few years, Michael would kind of check in with me, and I never officially worked for it or anything.
Right.
I can't really take applause or blame, but I got to be involved.
Take applause.
Well, I got to be involved. I think all the years I lived in Denver, I got to play or teach at it, and then after we left, I came back twice, I think. So yeah. I always loved working with Swallow Hill.
You opened for Jake. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend. Yeah.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
the Oriental.
The Oriental. Yeah.
Theater. And, that was fun.
Yeah. That was super great.
I think during our encore for that, I got all of the Oriental Theater to sing along with me on "What You Gonna Do When Death Come Creeping in Your Room," which is like
wow,
a typical Jake opener, right? Get people to
really kick things off.
Gospel song.
I don't know. Gospel songs have that uplifting feeling, even when they're talking about really serious things.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It is that rhythm. I was going to I don't know if you did this, Doug, but do you have some ukulele club names we can kind of rate? Like I think the Southern California ukulele something, your brother's one.
The Southern California ukulele something.
Ukulele.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, Stuart.
The ukulele. You know what I'm talking about. The ukulele club names.
No, but it's funnier listening to you kind of
stumble over with the M. I know. What is the M?
I do believe that you're talking about the Santa Clarita Ukulele Monopoly.
Monopoly. Okay, wow. That's it.
Which I was just at right before this. We were playing a little bit of the Ronnie James Dio because the Santa Clarita Ukulele Monopoly does metal, ska, and punk rock music.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Oh yeah, it is super fun. But Scum is probably in terms of and we now have merchandise. You can get your own Scum bag out there. It's awesome.
No!
Wow!
And a link to that will be in the show notes. But yeah, I've seen a couple. Bug up in
is good.
Boulder. I
Boulder
thought
ukulele group.
That was really good. Fort Uke, for a while they were going to do. Fort Uke is nice. My favorite post-pandemic one is Piss Up, which is people in self-solitude ukulele plucking.
Oh my gosh!
And that's the London group that I go to all the time. That they have arranged hosts 7 nights a week, and I have played there almost every night for the last year.
Yeah, that is amazing. Wow. Okay, so we have three contestants here. We've got Scum, and accessories with Scum include Scum Bag, which is a big plus. Bug, which is if you've seen their logo, it's really excellent. Sarah Goodroad heads that one up, and it's a beautiful logo. And then Piss Up, which is that is quintessentially British for some reason. I just feel that way.
It's quintessentially Lorraine who.
Lorraine. Okay. All right. So, Lucy, we'll let you add yours if you've heard of any, or you can pick your favorite of those three.
I would say, of those three, I would say Piss Up is pretty brilliant because I would never assume that was a ukulele group. And I think the cool thing about ukulele groups is they kind of have like this secret society vibe to them. You know, they feel a little exclusive and underground because it is such a cool niche. And that name would really throw me off. So I think that's the best one for disguising an underground ukulele group.
Awesome. And anyone can sign up to join, which is, and look, they leaving that Doug in. So they would let you in.
Well, Doug comes with a government subsidy. If you let him come, money. Yeah.
You let him in. I know. Yeah. All right, Aaron. What have you heard of any? And if, or would you? Which one would go ahead?
Well, I'm going to vote for one that's in Portland. They call themselves the Slugs.
The Slugs. And
I'm not sure of their acronym off the top of my head, but up in the Northwest, we have lots of big, sluggy creatures everywhere. So
I was going to say that is a good name for the Northwest. Yeah. And that must have been because you moved from Boulder area to the Northwest. Was that how was that for you in terms of climate? Because I think of the Northwest a little bit more as, overcast and damp, but I don't know about where you live.
Where we're at, we're a little over an hour east of Portland, and as you keep going farther east, you actually go into the high desert.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Like it's not like if you go a few hours east of me, you're practically in Idaho. So we live like on a dividing line between rainforest and high desert. And so where I live, it's 6 months of the year, it's pretty wet, but 6 months of the year, it's super, super dry and windy and hot. So that's the reason that they grow so much wine and orchards and things around here, is because like you have the fog in the morning and then it burns off it during the day with the hot sun, and it's like a Mediterranean climate.
No kidding. Wow.
So it's not too different from living in Colorado. We've got mountains and everything.
Right.
But we're closer to the ocean and it's a little more temperate, and I like it.
That is nice. So you're only pretty much a little over an hour away from the coast?
No, we're an hour from Portland, and then from there it's another hour and a half to the coast.
Oh, okay.
Portland.
Wow, why did I think?
It's Portland's on a river, where two rivers meet.
Okay.
And if you keep following that river, it will take you to the ocean. But it's not on the ocean.
Oh, all right. Did not know that. And we've got House of Uke. Who is that? I'm not sure.
Me.
That's you. And we got Uwe.
And Uwe from Germany, who I met through the Pandemic Pluckers.
Yes. See, that was even a good name there too. Pandemic Pluckers.
That's the one that everybody uses as opposed to saying piss up all the time. But
okay.
Well, and Aaron, I thought it was funny. I'm one of the co-hosts for Portland Ukulele Wednesdays.
Okay.
And so like I know some folks over in Portland, so the next time I come out, we've got all kinds of people to visit.
Yeah,
certainly.
We can see. And when Aaron was on the show once, I believe you were clipping frets, and I always wanted to know who got that ukulele, because they could claim being famous on "Those Were My Frets." Do you actually remember what ukulele you're working on?
Not a chance.
Okay. Yeah. And they probably go into a pile anyway, where you just clip them and then put them.
Yeah, that day I might have been like clipping a batch that lasted me for the month or something.
Okay. I was kind of romanticizing it, saying, "Oh, I bet you he was making a ukulele right there, and he's clipping the frets, and that fret, those frets will be on so and so's ukulele." But oh well.
Well, it's like everything we make is special, but we have to move on to the next one in order to make a living. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes people show me things I've made, and I look at it and I'm like, I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that one?
It's like I don't make that many instruments a year, but they have to be precious for that moment. But you have to let go, go to the next one, and then
that is true, because it's like, if you get attached to every one of them, you would never sell it. So oh, this is too beautiful, I can't sell it now. That would be hard.
Well, it's kind of the reason why I like doing live sound, is that you're all about that specific event, and then you have to let it go and take what you can from, if you made a mistake, then you learn from that. But otherwise, you're like that event is in the past, and you have to really focus on what's coming down the pike at you.
Well, that sounds healthy to me. I'm good on you guys for being able to let go. I'm going to go in the opposite direction here, and I wanted to go and talk to Lucy a little bit about arrangements and collaborations. Like, now I'm going to guess, but I'm not sure. When I listen to your songs, I hear a lot of production value in there. Like, it's like. And you can tell me I'm completely wrong, and you do it live in one take, which would be fine too.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, no, there's okay. So now I'm gonna have to tell the story of a song done in a 120-minute take. It's an 8-minute song. Wow. The drummer is Steve Gadd. The band is awesome, and it's made up of studio musicians. Which song am I talking about?
Steve Gadd.
Steve Gadd.
8 people.
It was a studio band.
Oh man.
They have some people think it's a royal scam that they did. Oh, come on, you guys. I really feel bad because I'm not okay,
man. Are you guys?
Steely Dan in Asia. Steely Dan Asia. If you ever listen to that song is an 8-minute song, and they did 2 or 3 takes in 20 minutes, and they nailed it. And you got to listen to the song. It's like, what in the world? Steve Gadd's drum solos on there. I know I'm digressing from ukulele, but there is
so
really.
It's not just me anymore. That's my job here.
That's my job now. After 10 years, I want to take that over. Yeah, no, go listen to it. Even
That's
ukulele.
Amazing.
Yeah, even you ukulele people, at the very end, they do a 1-chord jam, which is like a E minor sus11 something, one of those chords. But listen to it, and they're just jamming on one chord, and Steve Gadd is doing his solo, and it's incredible. And then when I learned that they did that in like 20 minutes, I was just like, no way.
Oh, yeah. I always go into recording with the intention of playing it perfectly the first time. But typically what I do is I'll do like a vocal with ukulele.
Okay.
And then that's the scratch track, as they call it. And then the producer goes in. And sometimes, upsettingly, they'll take out the ukulele entirely and just fill it up with all this production, which I'm trying to stand my ground and keep it in there now.
Good on you.
Yeah, it's hard to do sometimes because when you hire a producer, they always want to put their style on it, and they want to help you make a really big, commercial sound. But sometimes all a song needs is just a vocal with the ukulele, and that's it. But it really depends on the song, I guess.
So do you have that's pretty amazing. So you have a producer that you hire? Is that what you do? Because I was going to ask about how you do your productions.
Yeah, I work with different producers all over Los Angeles. But when I write a song, I have my home studio. So I'll record the ukulele or the guitar sometimes, and then the vocal. And then I kind of send it to them, and they play with it. And then I'll go into the studio for a full day of recording everything. Wow.
Okay. That is kind of like on the, I don't want to call it the high end, but that's awesome that you get to do that. I guess maybe Los Angeles has, because there's so many producers and musicians. That's just amazing, though. They have so many amazing musicians there, right? What's the band, the studio musician band, that the Wrecking Crew? I keep forgetting their name, right? They came out of Los Angeles. Yeah. And so this is so you do the scratch tracks at home, vocal and ukulele. And by the way, I think you're one of our original, what am I thinking? Why can't I think of it? Anyway, I'll think of it later. She is one of our favorite people. No, the ukulele size. The
baritone. I'm one of the only baritone players. Yeah.
See, I can't.
That's what I play mainly. I love.
Oh,
baritone.
Really? Oh, wonderful.
Certainly. Yeah.
It's the best. Oh, it's just the best.
No kidding. Okay, this is a good trivia. I didn't realize that. Okay, yeah, so certainly.
Yeah, it's such a special instrument, and it was actually the first type of ukulele I played, and I was so relieved coming from playing guitar that it was so easily, you could transition so easily because it's the same tuning.
Yes.
And I mean, I have a full collection of ukuleles, but I love the sound of a warm baritone tone.
Yeah, and that would have been easy. My first gig with a ukulele was with a band that I hadn't really played with, and this is the first time I played ukulele, and I was playing, I was playing what I thought was a C chord, but it was really F, and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
This is really fun. So you do the approach of recording at home, and then you actually go into a studio too and record there?
Yes, because I am not an engineer. I can do a great basic job or a nice live recording for YouTube. But when it comes to having, that high quality and knowing how to mix a track and master a track, I gotta collaborate with the professionals for that part. And it brings in a cool dynamic to your song, because it's, a real collaboration with someone who appreciates music and wants to add to your art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And how do you, not that you need to share all the finances, but how do you do that on a budget? Because, is that like,
oh yeah, it's
do
hard.
Do they share revenue, or, in the old days, the bad old days, it was you have a recording contract, right? And Aaron could probably talk to that, because I remember on the first podcast you mentioned some of this, and then they'll front the money, but then you don't get any profits until they're paid back, and it's a lot of times not a very good split of profits at that. So how does it?
Definitely.
Yeah, how
well,
do
that's
you
what
do
a lot
that?
of labels do as well. So if you have a label, they'll pay for recording, but you won't make anything until they get all their money back. But since I'm independent, yeah, I've done a few Kickstarters. That's how I started to do it.
Okay.
But now I've kind of found a good balance of, okay, I'm going to put all my royalties and all my merch money into one, savings account. And that's the money that I get to spend on producers and mixing engineers. And because I appreciate producers, and I know there's a lot of people who will work for free or for cheap when they're right out of school. But it does feel really good as a musician and as an independent artist to pay people for their time, and you're going to get something good back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, that's good business. That's good business. So you create a fund, and you fund it from your Kickstarters and your royalties, and then you use that, you put it back in and reinvest it. And that's
yes. It's definitely a lot of work. It's definitely like starting a small business. Instead of taking like a loan from a bank, like a label, taking a loan from a label.
That is true, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good business. So all you budding musicians out there, and I think we can go to Aaron, because you kind of started in the Bolek Acoustic Society, and I think on the 5th anniversary show, yay! You were talking about when you guys were together, you had an accountant and a manager and everything. I mean, you guys had the whole 9 yards. And then after that, you went independent. So what was your journey like on that musical production side?
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to the business side of it, the first part of my career kind of spanned that transition over from traditional models to the internet taking over. So I kind of saw all that. So yeah, there was years where we paid a lot of folks, like you just mentioned, because we thought that would, increase everything. We thought it would make it better to have the manager, the agent, all those things. Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of those years, it was really helpful, but for a lot of those years, money wise, it didn't always help out.
Yeah.
But I think because of the way the internet works now, like Nicole and I, we put out books and CDs when we feel like it, and we pay for them ourselves, and we get all the profit. And, every day we wake up and somebody ordered books or CDs overnight, and we ship stuff every day. So it's like, we're kind of at a point where I don't need a million people to like our music. We just have this small group of patrons that buy all our books and CDs, and that's enough to make a living.
That's awesome.
There were years with my old band where I think we chased what we thought was the goal, and it was cool, but Nicole and I are happier and better off now that we know what we know, and we just do what we can do and do our best work, and the right people find us. So,
by the way, speaking of people finding you, a shout out to my friend Jen, who got your book on claw hammer ukulele playing and loved it. It just really thought it was fantastic, and she does a fantastic job of playing the claw hammer. Like, cool. Yeah, she sounds like the villain from Go Go Gadget, Inspector Gadget.
Well, and there's this great example too, where now like somebody like the claw hammer ukulele book. That's the first book we wrote, and it's over 10 years old.
Really?
And there's still some people who find that every day. Right? There's like people like looking at old YouTube videos of mine to learn this stuff. They're 10 years old now, and it's like, if you just do good work and hopefully you can not quit, like just keep doing it and let good work build on good work. We are not rich. We are not famous. But we've been able to keep doing it and be comfortable, where Whereas most people, they hustle for a few years and then quit. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard, if you burn out like that, because you can burn out if you really do that, have that expectation of, I'm going to hit it. And, it does happen. It's just pretty rare. I think just you got to spend years hustling and working. People like you, people like Lucy, Daniel ate the sandwich, all you guys just hats off to what you guys do. Hey, I want to find out from you what you find best if you do this, collaborating on the internet, where you go, hey, I want to do a song. And then, you want to recruit your friends, but especially in the pandemic, but even before that, not everyone can find a date and time to come together. What have you guys done in terms of that? So there's two sides to it. One is the audio side, which is just how do you record it? And then the second is a lot of people like to do the video side of it too, to add interest. And, kind of like Pamplemousse is one of the bands that pioneered that. So what do you do? So let's go back to Lucy. How do you collaborate?
Yeah, well, even before the pandemic, I realized that, waiting to be on tour in London just so I could play ukulele with like a London ukulele player over there and collaborate is very difficult. And the internet is a wonderful thing. And there's so many ways that you can collaborate just by recording yourself, sending it to someone you want to work with, having them put something on it, send it back. But my most recent project for Roller Coaster, for the music video, I wanted this Nashville comedian to be starring in the music video.
Oh, cool.
But, yeah, so I reached out to them. They're a really awesome TikToker, and I basically just saw their videos and I thought they were so cool. So I sent them a message and said, I'd love you to be in my new music video. Would you be down? And basically we took a day and we each filmed ourselves in different scenarios. So they're in Nashville, they set up a dinner date, they set up walking their dog, and I did the same thing here in LA. And then we had an editor put them together, and we made a music video that makes us look like we're FaceTiming in a long distance relationship. And that's the whole music video.
Oh, wow.
And a link to that video is going to be in the show notes.
Well done, Doug. Well done. Yeah, so it was really fun.
Doug is famous for that. So kind of going down, because I think it's really, especially in this pandemic, people just are going, oh, I'd love to do that. And then it's not as easy as it sounds. And the biggest thing is synchronizing the audio. So I kind of want to go into this inside baseball kind of thing. And what's your technique? One technique that I've used a lot is just a clap, right? Whatever you want, a noise to synchronize. You can also use time-stamped audio, but I noticed that the video folks don't really dig that. I don't know why. I don't know. Someone got to explain that to me. It's like, listen, you got a waveform with a timestamp in it. Why can't you use it? Anyway, what is your technique?
For live,
just for recording, yeah, the recording part, when you're video editor, what does your video editor want from you?
They always want the clap. You gotta do the clap. Yep. Nope, you gotta do the clap. And that's just because it's a visual and it's so quick, as opposed to them going in and looking at the exact time mark and lining it up, because it might be off if you started late or something. But the clap just allows them to see it, line up the two images right on time, and just makes it a lot easier, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yep. This just seems like I've been doing that for years, and I thought that was old school. I thought, now come on, we've got a timestamp audio, but no, they want the clap. All right.
Well,
it's your slate, basically.
If I can jump in, one of the other bonuses that you get with that is, and something that I've run into is, especially if you I don't know, have a thing where you look like a parrot on your video track. Sometimes that can delay that video a little bit. And so if you have the visual and audio together, you can line the clap up with the spike on the waveform, as opposed to if you just have the time code, then it's going to still have that delay. So that's, or at least in my opinion, I'm sure there's video guys going, no, that's not it, Doug. That's not how people do it.
I don't know. We maybe, Aaron, what has been your experience on collaborating?
Well, although Nicole and I love performing and people seem to like it when we do, the main way we make our living in music is education. So for me, our whole time spent over the last year using technology has been to try to make the educational experience better and more collaborative. Okay. So in general, I don't do a lot of the kind of like audio video collaboration work you're talking about with performance, because my wife's my collaborator. So we just sit next to each other and play music
live.
Yeah. But we've put all our energy with technology in order to make the educational experience better this year. Because a lot of the festivals we worked with, obviously didn't happen, and we needed to get good at this quick. And then like Nicole and I were artistic directors for the Manuka Ukulele Band Camp. We just did it 2 weeks ago. And that was another all online weekend. And people now know what to do, basically. Like Zoom is not quite so foreign. You don't have to tell people to turn their original sound on as often. You don't have to tell people to, just all the stuff. People kind of have it together now. And also the artists in general have scrambled to get their tech together so that it's a good weekend. So, we can put together a concert video. We can put together, like we did, was one of the staff's 50th birthday. So we put together like a little birthday montage video for them. We actually put together like a tour of the location where we would be at, which is this beautiful camp to do for the weekend. But then, using Zoom for jam sessions and play-alongs and breakout rooms and classes and, knowing how to share your screen, show YouTube videos, put up the PDF, like that's where we've been collaborating this year.
And that is so important. This is going to take us forward because, even my mom knows how to use Zoom now, which is great.
Wow. That's really good.
The best, really what's interesting about it is, so like it's one thing if you're going to go do the coffee shop gig where people pay $5 or $10 to go see you play, there are barriers to entry to that, but they're small. If you're going to like run the Palm Springs ukulele weekend, the barriers to entry for a customer to come to Palm Springs and rent a hotel room and pay for there's big barriers to entry for that. And what I've seen over the years is a lot of these big ukulele events that we work at, they end up being not that democratic because you have to travel to get there. You have to take off work. You got to spend a bunch of money.
Oh yeah.
And I know Doug's not going to miss the Denver event because that's his hometown, but Doug's not going to get on a plane 8 times a year to fly around to other events like it. Right. Denver's your jam. So what I've noticed with Zoom this year, you're not only seeing the usual suspects at those events, but I'm seeing people from all over at them because it's a lot cheaper and easier to stay home and the tickets are smaller. And I've seen a lot more families, a lot more kids and teenagers, and a lot more not white people at these events.
Nice.
Not
white.
I mean, it's true. And so with Zoom,
that is interesting.
So I'm kind of like fantasizing about, at one of these big festivals, can we still do it in person like normal? But can there be the Zoom room where every teacher's got to go teach one time Zoom over the weekend?
We can do this. I know we can do this. And why not stream a lot of that stuff? I learned how to, I was a technical project manager, I guess you could call it, on a virtual event we did. And there's everyone. What I loved is no one noticed the technology. All they just said was, "Oh, it was a great event. Wonderful speaker and great interaction." And behind the scenes, we were just white knuckled, making sure everything went smoothly. And that's what you got to do, And that's what people are starting to figure out. Is like, oh yeah, set up all this technology, practice, make sure everyone is on board, and then you have a wonderful time.
Well, imagine this, like. The Port Townsend Ukulele Festival we do every year. That's at like a location that's like a little college campus.
Yeah.
And they've got festivals all year of different topics. So they're starting to build up a better infrastructure and a staff to be able to do something like this. But what if you could run the whole weekend like you always do? Whoever wants to come do it, they pay their however much money to go to it. It's probably several $100s to come for 4 days or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what if you wanted to also sign up? Somebody could sign up for the $100 streaming pass.
Right.
They can stream. They don't get 30 workshops. They get 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And then the concert, we just stream it on YouTube as well. And then maybe there's like one like faculty Zoom hang with all the people on that. So you could reach people from all over the world for the $100 price, as well as the people local who can pay the money to travel.
Right.
I think that would be a great going forward future compromise, just to make it more democratic and reach more people.
I'm all for that. Be really interested to see how Craig Chi and Sarah Mizell are running the ukulele festival in Hawaii. They're taking over from Roy Sakuma, and if you've seen their stuff, and you've worked with them, I'm sure, but Craig, I think, got his degree in audio visual, whatever. I think
he did photography in college, but
photography.
But Craig's a technology early adopter, right? Like whenever I got questions, I go to him because he's already done the homework. So I mean, he's
good strategy.
This whole year, he's taught me a ton because I just, instead of Googling and listening to people I don't trust, I call Craig and say, okay, do I do this or this, or do I do this or this?
Right.
And,
Yeah, that is going to be, I think, going forward, this hybrid approach, which I'm really thankful that I think the pandemic has pushed us in this direction, and I hope we really go forward and embrace it. Although I still hope that one day we'll get Lucy to come to the Denver Ukulele Festival. Doug, did we?
Definitely.
Oh, I'm behind that as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have links to both Port Townsend and the that other ukulele camp that you mentioned. The Manuka. Yeah, we're going to move on.
Manuka. Thank you, Doug. And I want to say aloha to Raitesh Shukla.
Oh, yeah.
Aloha. There's a lot of Kama'aina expatriates over there on the West Coast. Did any of them in your area?
Not up in Hood River that I know of. But there's definitely, like, because of college reciprocity with Oregon, there's just tons of folks from the islands, especially in Portland, and then Eugene and Salem as well. And so we see folks all the time, but up in Hood River here, I can't think off the top of my head of any Native Islanders that we're friends with. But it's close by. I mean, in a way, on the West Coast, the connection with the islands has always been so strong that,
Yeah, down over there in Los Angeles, too, they've got a lot of expats. Well, and Craig and Sarah used to live down in San Diego until they, lucky buggers, got to move back to Hawaii, and that's awesome. Good on them. I don't know how they swung that, but that's great. Yeah. Hey, Lucy, do you know Heidi Swedberg? Isn't she out there? You ever met her and Daniel Ward?
I know I've heard of Daniel Ward, but I don't know Heidi. I'll have to.
They're the coolest.
Yeah,
they're the coolest. You got to. I'll connect you with them if need be. But they're
I would. They're wonderful
I'd love
people.
that.
Yeah, really, really neat people. But they're out there in the Los Angeles area, and there's Have you been to the Los Angeles Ukulele Festival? I think it's called the Los Angeles International Ukulele Festival or something.
Nope, I've been out of town consistently.
What is it?
I know. No, there's usually I was on the road. I remember there was like 3 years in a row I had the same tour every single time. Yeah. So like you were saying, like if they had an online streaming option, that would be wonderful.
We went to that event 3 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, and Daniel Ho seems to be associated with that a lot, which is great. And then they have that in J-Town near there, they have this ukulele shop or something. I don't know what. McCabe's. Is that it?
McCabe's is a famous guitar and ukulele place. And Heidi and Daniel played and taught there a bunch.
Okay. That's where I heard the name so much. Yeah. It sounds like one of those big, kind of like elderly music, if people know what that sounds like. McCabe is kind of like that too.
They also have had a stage there and done concerts forever. So like going back to into the 70s and 80s, Los Angeles folk music type people have long played at McCabe's. Yeah.
Oh,
kind of like the Denver. It's a Denver Folklore Center.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good reference point. Lucy, have you played down at the McCabe's?
Nope, not yet. I've been a few times.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know anyone there to give you a reference to. So
that's okay. Everything's pretty shut down still, unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's see. What's next on the agenda here? Oh, what is something new you started doing or learning in the past year that you're going to take with you post-pandemic? And Doug, you can jump in too. Have you started doing anything new?
So I've done all kinds of new things, but the biggest one is I've started playing accordion, and actually,
no way,
nice.
Did the Acquired American? Oh my gosh, at you!
Yes,
whoa!
Indeed.
Oh, actually, please play it.
Don't encourage him. Lucy, what did you do?
On.
I
want to hear it.
No, go for it, Doug.
For the first time ever, well, not ever, but for the first time in a long, long time, I'm actually taking lessons, which thank goodness for that. My whole family is super, super excited about that. But
nice.
You can go, it's the OokTown Podcast with Stuart Yoshida.
Wow.
But you can't play it at the beginning because
you were even on key with that. That is awesome. That's a beautiful instrument. Would you show that? So all you folks listening, you're gonna have to go. Wow, is that
that's the size
one?
Nicole plays. It's like a little lady size or parlor size.
Parlor size.
Call them. I'm not kidding.
It's a 46 bass or a 42 bass accordion, which. So shout out to my friend Boston Lou, who I met on the Pandemic Pluckers. I used to have a 12 bass, like a little, like a lady's parlor size accordion, and which I would bring out every once in a while as everybody was playing along with the ukuleles. My friend Boston Lou, who is not surprisingly from Boston.
Wow, what gave that away?
His father passed away, which is not the happy part of the story. But he said, "Well, my dad has an accordion. Would you like it?" And so he sent me that. So that is from my ukulele friend from Boston that I met playing online.
I was going to say that looks pretty classic. That looks like a beautiful instrument. So how old is it?
Like it. What now?
How old is it?
It's old enough to vote.
Thank you, Doug. That's really great. I hope it wasn't part of that whole, election fraud scandal. Mm-hmm. Was it? Did it register itself to vote illegally?
Sure. Or yes, and when it voted twice. So yes, indeed.
All right. Well, that's awesome. So you're gonna are you gonna bring that to when everything is live with the Denver ukulele community? Are you gonna bring your accordion?
I think I might, just because it's got such a nice low end. Like there's so much there's so much high end in terms of sound. Having a little bass in there is always kind of nice. And,
it fills out. It's got a lot of the harmonic range. I mean, acoustically, so that is really nice.
Exactly.
I'm sure Aaron thinks that I'm preaching to the choir because is it you or Nicole? Isn't Nicole the accordion player, or am I thinking?
Yeah, Nicole plays the accordion. Yeah.
All right.
And by the way, Nicole is awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Which
absolutely,
it's not congruent with the accordion playing, but I'm not saying that's against that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's no, and we want to welcome on the stream Bob.
My boy Bob.
Bob Smay.
Yes, he's a stagehand out in California that I know from the Pandemic Pluckers.
See, this is amazing.
And the www.ukejams.com, the Sacramento club that actually I'm leading that club tonight, and it's going to be super fun. The theme is going to be pirate songs. So so you heard it here first.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go to Lucy. What have you started doing?
I have, and don't laugh, I am a musician. I have started waking up early.
Okay.
But to be very
I'm sorry. You shouldn't have said don't laugh because all right, that is awesome.
You know, the thing is, before the pandemic, I was playing a lot of gigs, and you know, your set times like 11 p.m. in LA, or you're playing a restaurant gig or a club, and they always put you on real late, and you're playing late, and then you gotta load up the car, and you gotta say bye to your band, and schmooze a bit to try and get some private clients and things like that. And I was always just out so late and seeing other friends' shows, and then once the lockdown started, I finally have like a normal routine of waking up in the actual morning and then going to bed at a reasonable hour. And I really hope I can keep it going. I hope that, the venues in LA would adjust a little bit, but I don't know. I hope they do.
I think keeping a good schedule and getting some sleep is a great thing.
Yeah.
Really. What have you seen as a result of that? Has it given you more time to more energy or time to write songs, inspire?
Or can you climb up walls now with your bare hands?
Yes, I have superpowers now.
She's Spider Woman now.
No, it's so wonderful to wake up in the morning and just, have a cup of coffee and play ukulele for a little bit before the rush of the day starts.
Yeah.
As opposed to waking up tired from the night before, trying to write a song in between, gigs or driving to your rehearsal space, things like that. And everything's a little bit clearer when you wake up early, which I never believed, of course, when other people told me that. I said,
that is awesome.
No, I'm a night owl.
Well,
so
trying something new like that, even if you're a night owl, I think that the pandemic kind of forced us to do things differently, and that showed us that it can, these things can be good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Aaron, what about you?
Well, although I did play a lot of local gigs before this, mainly our musical life was spent traveling. So, it didn't feel like we did that much because I was in the wood shop so much. But once it was gone and we really were home, we've spent the year like truly kind of like investing labor in our own little land here. So we have an acre, and we've actually got serious about our garden and everything and our trees. And we got 3 chickens this year. And so we've been we got 3 chickens in the garden and the fruit trees and, the flowers. And then we had a kitchen leak that was disastrous to the kitchen. And so I've learned how to make new kitchen cabinets.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I
guess that's a woodworking thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've got the equipment. I never came up in building instruments because I came up in woodworking, right? I started building instruments because I was a musician.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I've had to like come end around and learn how to use the equipment I have to do things like make cabinets.
That is cool.
So yeah, it's like, it feels good to invest our labor in the place that we live and make our own little bit of the world nicer.
Yeah.
Because it kind of felt a lot this year that, it was hard for me to find a way to make the rest of the world nicer, and so I think being able to just like be on your knees in the dirt, making something beautiful, was healthy for me this year.
Wow. And those chickens, do you get fresh eggs from them?
Yeah, we get 2 or 3 eggs a day.
Oh, nice.
And our son Henry, who's almost 7, it's his job to collect the eggs and all that. And so it's been fun as a family to have that as a project,
that is cool.
I do want to fact check you here. I think Henry is just like really, really little. Because the last time I saw him, he was little. So
he was
I think you're wrong in that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he put him in suspended animation, so that's what happened. No, that is going to be weird next time I see Henry, because I'm sure you had Henry. Did you have Henry at the Denver Ukulele festivals? You probably did, didn't?
We brought him to the 10th anniversary event.
Oh, okay.
He was
that was epic.
Yeah, he was like straight up baby at that
time. Yeah, okay.
Or maybe one. Now he's going to be 7 in a couple weeks. So
wow. I think a lot of us have been looking at doing those kind of more earthy things. I know for myself, I'm a fungus farmer now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Whoa.
No, yeah, that's a little bit like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder when he said, "I'm a lead farmer." Do you remember that line? You got to watch the show. Oh, you haven't seen it, Doug? Oh, please.
I haven't seen it in this decade, I think.
Oh, yeah, you got to go back. You got to go back and see it. What kind of farmer are you? I'm a lead farmer. I can't see the next part of that. Anyway, yes, I have been, let's see, all things fermentation.
Right.
So I've been, kimchi, yeasted breads. What else? Natto, if you know what that is, that's a Japanese delicacy. Has anyone tried natto? I mentioned it before.
Natto.
That's not the bean paste, is it?
It's not a bean paste. It is soybeans.
Okay.
No, I think that's chips with cheese on the top.
It is natto cheesy. Natto is like cheese. Yes, you might mistake them for nacho cheese because it is stinky cheese. It smells stinky. Yeah, it's a fermented soybean. What they do is they steam it. I steam it, and then you put it in a moist environment and at a fairly high temperature, and then you inoculate it with a bacteria, Bacillus subtilis, and it creates this rather stinky, stringy biofilm around the soybean as it digests things, and if you look it up, it is a wonderful source of vitamin K. It's an order of magnitude higher source of vitamin K, which is essential for our health. And it also has all kinds of nutrients plus a protein. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
And here's what I took away from all of that is
mushrooms.
It's a process of learning, because the first time you make bread or natto or kimchi, it just, if it came out great, it was all by accident. And you just keep trying and trying, getting the crumb of the bread better, getting the kimchi just the right level of fermentation without becoming too sour. So that's
like a fine art.
It is a fine art. And it's like, I'm going to take this with me going, whenever I do something in the future, I just keep in mind, work at it, take notes, and keep trying, iterate and get better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that's, it's become a little cliche during the pandemic, but actually doing something with your hand, mind, and body that has results is very positive for humanity and for your own humanity. And so, folks baking bread or whatever, that's been a good thing that people have discovered this year. And the main reason I really extol that is, like, when it comes to your phone or your iPad or something, if it doesn't work and you call support, the first thing they say is, "Oh, just turn it off and turn it back on again." So, like, we live in a world where, like, your most important item what makes it work is just to turn it off and turn it on again. Like, no wonder we're all disconnected from what is truth and reality, right? When like you can't fix this, like it's not fixable by you. So, but if your bread didn't turn out that great the first time, you can work at it and get better at it and actually achieve something that is real,
and that is and it's very true too, and it helps you glean out fact from fiction, because the first thing I do on here is I look up YouTube and search the internet for how to do something, right? And so you see a dozen different ways of doing it, and I try and pick the best one that I think is going to work. But when you try it out, I mean, that's truth, right? Especially with a bread or you're fermenting something, if it doesn't turn out, you'll know it. It's like, no, that didn't work out, and I followed the directions, so maybe not for me. And then you figure it out, and I think that's all good. We need to take time to do that more often.
And with that, I put a link to my video of crepe by Radio Bread,
nice.
The parody that I did, because it's just always seems to come in and be relevant.
It is relevant when you're making things like crepe, yes, and that is a process.
And a question for Aaron: what happened with the Tide wood trade ukes?
Oh, did somebody put that in chat?
Yes.
Oh yeah, retide. Oh, okay.
I don't know what those words mean when they're put in that order.
There's so I often write for Ukulele Magazine, and one of the things I've been doing the last few years is writing about other builders that I really like, and it's been like a great way to use like the corporate machine to like amplify the voice of a artist. So I don't write about Kala's musical instruments. I write about other solo makers.
Yeah.
And so a couple years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, I wrote about my friends from Tide Music. They're they're like around the Lake Tahoe area, and they make really great musical instruments. And they share a similar aesthetic to me, where they use a lot of reclaimed wood and like wood with cool stories and wood with interesting scars on it and stuff. So as part of that process, we mailed each other wood, and we made instruments from each other's wood stash.
Oh, cool.
So the one I made from their wood was my 500th instrument.
Wow.
If you Googled like Beansprout 500 ukulele or something, you'd find it. And then I sent them a stash of wood, and then they made that instrument and sold it as well. Like about 8 months ago, I think 6 or 8 months ago. So
yeah, that's a great collaboration.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like, yeah, it is. It's like, I like to interact with people who see the world like I do, but I also want to talk to people who've got new ideas. So that's why I like interviewing and writing about other builders, because I always get something out of it.
And a link to Tide and the Beansprout 500 uke is both in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, that kind of brings me to the artisans, the master artisans. And, who should we be looking at in terms of maybe ukulele makers? And of course, everyone should be looking at Beansprout. But, either ukulele makers or who you think are, great musician artists. We'll go back to Lucy.
Okay, that's a good one. In terms of ukulele makers, I am always drawn to instruments by their story. So where the wood came from, and why the person making it began making that instrument. And I think that's always a wonderful way to get an instrument and hear the backstory. But I don't know if it's just because I'm in a big city, but what's available to us here in the stores is always like these big corporations, and there's a lot of ukulele companies that are doing really well, but they are kind of very large and going directly to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
So I definitely say support local as much as you can.
Wow, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and Kala actually is up in Petaluma, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're based out of, which is kind of, that's up north, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of love for Kala. They were the first company to endorse me. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I still say bye, Kala, of course. I love them.
Nice.
Good folks.
And they do. They're trying to do more high-end artisan type of ukuleles too on the side. So that's good on them.
Yeah. They're very creative, and they've come up with so many cool, like, play this ukulele in the ocean. It's waterproof. And,
oh yeah, the Waterman, right?
Yeah, they got some fun things.
Yeah.
And then I actually I was asked to present the Billie Eilish signature ukulele for Fender. Yeah, so I got to demo it. I got to introduce the ukulele on Fender.com, and it's on YouTube. It was really exciting.
Wow.
But in terms of artists, I don't think a year ago I would have said, oh, I consider Billie Eilish, a great ukulele player.
Right.
But then of course I did my research because I was going to present the ukulele, and I was like, wow, there's so many songwriters who start with the ukulele and that's their first instrument. And then they just flourish from learning, the basics on a ukulele. And I think I've been looking more into artists and what instruments they started on recently, because there are so many popular artists right now who started on ukulele, like 21 Pilots. They have their ukulele songs.
Yes.
And kind of looking, there's so many great ukulele players that just play ukulele, but also there's so many artists out there who have incorporated it into their music repertoire somehow.
Interesting. That's wild. And I didn't know Billie Eilish was a ukulele player, although it just seems like there's so many singer-songwriters have ukuleles in their collection.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Aaron, what about you? Either ukulele makers or artists?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, in general, when it comes to music stuff, I'm in general like focused on whatever the next task is at hand, whether we're trying to pick people to play at our events or I've got to learn these songs for this thing or whatever. So when I go hunting down, music that's for me to listen to, I don't even really go looking for ukulele music in general. But in the last year, my main focus has been on filling holes in my own training and understanding of the world. So I mainly, when it comes to makers and music, I've been just doing my research and listening to and learning about stuff on the islands from as far back as I can. So the reason I've got that Nunez ukulele on the wall is because I'm going back and doing my homework. I want to see and learn about, Hawaii and its history and culture, because I've made my living with this instrument, but I've never had a connection specifically to the islands. Right.
Awesome.
So I'm listening to lots of old Hawaiian music, and I've been trying to learn about the language and history and culture a little bit more.
Very cool.
So my main guide through that, besides just reading books, is I'm always messaging Stephen Espanola,
right,
in the Bay Area.
Yes,
and because he's like always helpful for me, where I'm like, hey, I did a Google search and this word translates to these 5 different things. What do you think? What do they mean in this? Or how do you pronounce that? Or so that's been helpful to have him as a guide. So I can give him a shout out as an artist, because obviously his singing and playing is so good.
Very cool.
So
and we have had him on the show. That is
great.
Yeah, cool guy. And I'm actually going to do a Ukulele Kids Academy workshop probably in May or June. I think it's June. I haven't set a date yet. And the topic of that is going to be the history and origin of the ukulele, but I'm going to go back all the way to the actual formation of the islands, because I think it actually informs so much of the how the instrument came to be. And I mentioned this also on Ukulele is the New Black. And it's that everything is, and this is so true everywhere, but everything is an immigrant. Everything came from somewhere else. And the Hawaiian Islands, when they were formed, that was volcanic rock. And the only way and reason why there's any life on there was because some bird or something brought a plant there that could survive on nothing other than volcanic rock. It grew and died thousands of years, and those were the only plants that survived until they created topsoil. And that's just incredible to me. You know, if it wasn't for that quote immigrant plant, there would be no life on the island.
Yeah, and I was reading Jim Troncata's book this year, and he was talking about, obviously we know that the ukulele is a global phenomenon even 120 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it already was in a place of immigrants, and the people who built it were immigrants from another island nation. And, you know, it was popularized and spread by a related group of immigrants, and it became the cultural export to the world to speak for islands. I mean, like, it is like, if you can't talk about this stuff without talking about colonialism, globalism, economies, mass markets, agriculture, food, feeding people, you know, spiritual beliefs behind all the different woods, you know, patriotism, all of it. Like, it's all related, you know.
It is. You know that the reason the ukulele came to Hawaii was because of sugarcane.
That's right. Yeah.
If it wasn't for the sugarcane, the Portuguese would have never sent immigrants over to work in the field. That's why they came over. It was to work in the sugarcane plantations, and later pineapple and things like that. But it was mainly sugarcane at the time. And you know, that was the economic driving force that brought it over, and then from there it just, you know, exploded. It was just amazing.
And don't forget, they were growing sugar because in the United States we could no longer get sugar from the southern states because of the Civil War. So so the Civil War caused the Hawaiian Islands to become a location to make sugar.
Right, and that in turn forced the United States government, and there was a lot of reasons why, but one of them was economic. And so this is, I think it's really important to understand the background. And so economically, the expatriates from the United States started to go, hey, we're not comfortable with the Hawaiian government, what they're doing. So that was one of the driving forces that they created the blockade, and they took over the government, and eventually, you know, annexed Hawaii illegally, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all interconnected. It's just incredible how this all and all the good stuff.
You know, Willie Nelson did a sports themed vaccination PSA on ukulele to all be seeing you.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, because you know, it felt like we were getting a little heavy. So what I'm here to do is just lob it in there. But yeah, Willie Nelson sounding awesome on All Be Seeing You.
Well, I'm sure, you know, there's a Hawaii connection more than that. I'm sure Willie Nelson had some Maui Wowie. If you know what that is, Doug.
So there was a report back when I was out on tour, so 5 or 10 years ago, that they had found 3 ounces of marijuana on Willie Nelson's tour bus, and the question was, did they just go up to the ashtray at the front of the bus and stop? Because I mean, holy mackerel!
Right? Yeah. No, there was probably a big stash somewhere. I know, and more, it's getting decriminalized. So good on him. And I'm sure Willie Nelson has I think a big business now, doesn't he have a whole business side of that now in the cannabis, and it's called cannabis. It's not weed anymore. We got to take it out.
I know that there's a song, I'll never smoke marijuana, smoke weed with Willie again. That apparently he does not mess around.
Probably not. Yeah. Okay. Well, getting back to the agenda, the topics, 10th anniversary of OokTown Podcast. I don't know where we're going to go from here. So, Doug, I'm going to start with you. What should we keep doing, and what do you think we should start doing now that we're going to be
we should keep doing the OokTown Podcast. Thanks.
Oh, good. All right. That was easy. So, Lucy, what do you think we should keep doing? And then what do you think we should start doing in our 11th year?
I think I've always loved that you have a couple guests on at a time, because I've met so many ukulele players just from being on the podcast. I mean, of course, by listening to the podcast, but even being on the podcast, it's really cool to be able to talk with some of these amazing ukulele players that I would never have the chance to talk to, like Aaron right here. I think it's so cool. So I love that. I would love to see more live performance incorporated, whether that's, having a link at the end of the video to one of the speakers, or maybe encouraging collaboration between like the two guests that are on to like do a song together, something for the podcast, something like an exclusive series that you can only find on OokTown. Like, I think that would be really cool. One.
There we go. Oh, I like that idea. So collabs and
because it's such a great community here, and you've really grown a foundation for so much that I think, there's a lot of opportunities for even more content and music and collaboration.
Great. All right. We'll hire you as our producer.
Wonderful. I'm in.
Because I could use that. Awesome. Thank you for that insights. Aaron, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think that idea for collaboration is fun. I think as people get their tech together, it's not a big burden and it would be a fun project. Like, I haven't got to work with Lucy in the past, but if she 3 days ago would have sent me a track and said, put something on that, I would have done it. It would have been fun. And then we could play it here. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I think the most important thing for me about podcasts is like, there are podcasts that I've been listening to for as much as 10 years. And the most important thing is that it just keeps happening, and that makes me happy and safe.
Okay.
Like and I really mean that. Like, there are podcasts that have been a part of my life that long that if they stopped, it would be sad. So,
wow.
I think just keep doing it, and because you never know how this rhythm of your work is affecting somebody else's life. People want to hear it every month, and if it stopped, that would be a tragedy. So,
wow. Hey, there's well, thank you so much for those thoughts and words. And Mandy Harkett is on watching the stream. So thank you for joining us, Mandy. So great. We'll have to have you back on.
The best. Yay!
It is.
We met Mandy the first time we went to England. We played at the Grand Northern Ukulele Festival, and we met her. That's when Henry was little too.
Awesome.
She hosts every other Friday on the Pandemic Pluckers, and which I have mentioned like 16 times today. But her strum along is super fantastic. It's called Fancy Fridays. You don't have to be fancy, but it helps.
I gotta check this out.
There, of course, will be a link in the show notes.
Nice. That's one of the great things that we've figured out is that when Doug started getting in the groove with putting in the links, I think that upped our game. All right. Well, we have been on the show for a while, and I'm just wanting to thank everyone. I want to send a shout out to all the patrons and listeners who've been with us. Some of them for just find us, but I think there's been a lot of people who've been following the OokTown podcast for a lot of years, and I'm just so grateful to have them along, to hear about it, and it encourages me. We're not a huge show, and at the same time, it's nice to know that people continue to join us and listen to us. And I know I could put in a lot more work in terms of the whole social platform engagement, TikTok, Twitter. I barely keep up with Twitter.
And I'll help you with TikTok.
All right, all you young folks, yeah, you're gonna have to, because I only discovered. Is it okay? I saw a couple videos. Well, first of all, when Sarah Cooper started doing her TikToks, that was like another level. And then there was that viral TikTok of the guy when his car broke down. He went on his skateboard, and started TikTok to Dreams by not Stevie Nicks, but
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
it's art.
It is an art.
Moments of art.
I still don't understand what it is. So you young folks are going to have to just kind of tell me what it's about.
Back in my day, we used to tick-tock with the grandfather clock down the hallway, and that's it.
All right. Awesome. Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much, everybody. Great to have you back on the show, Lucy. How many times did we only have? Is this only your second time, or have you been on?
I think it's the third
time.
Because I was on here with Sarah and Craig, and with oh gosh, is it Victoria?
Oh, Victoria Vox. Yeah. Oh, nice. Hey, have you and Victoria lives out there? Maybe you guys should collab too. There you go.
Yes, I usually go see her perform at NAMM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's so good.
And yeah, there's a lot of people on the podcast who go to NAMM. See, that's a nice thing when you live out in Los Angeles. That must be overwhelming when you go to NAMM. What is it like going into that big convention center with thousands of...
It's just a big guitar center. That's all it is. It's a bunch of toys and...
I love it. Yes.
Noise.
Yeah, that was episode 63, my New Year's resolution.
Ooh. Oh, Thank you, Doug. All right. Well, it's great to have you on the show for our 10th anniversary. And
yeah, it's great to be back. And congratulations.
Thank you. And we'll have to do more collaborations. We'll figure out how to do that. Aaron, great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. And, this is, I don't know what award you should get, but, you're on for the 5th anniversary. You're on for the 10th anniversary. There's got to be an award for you, something somewhere for doing that. So thanks so much. And it's awesome that Bean Sprout is going, that you're started into cabinet making. Usually it's funny because it goes the opposite way where the cabinet makers go, hey, I want to do instrument. Isn't that funny that there's so many? Well, listen, the ukulele, right? The Portuguese immigrants were cabinet makers.
Yeah, when they first got to the islands, they had to do their stint in the fields because they're brought as ag laborers first. They finished their stint in the fields, and they all three end up in the Chinatown area of Honolulu, and they open businesses or start working for other folks as cabinet makers / guitar builders / they had all these different names after them.
Yes,
but yeah, it's like it's a little bit of good job security. I guess if people stop asking me for ukuleles, maybe I can still keep swinging a hammer some way or another. So,
custom cabinets, well built. I would love that. I think there's a market, because even the factory stuff, it doesn't have the soul.
Yeah. No. And I think, I don't think I'd be interested in doing this for anyone else, it's fine for my own kitchen. But it's nights and weekends too. So it's really a slow process. I'm working on each little cabinet here or there. I don't have time I didn't have time when this kitchen emergency happened to just stop making other things to do the kitchen. So it's been just a little bit here and there, and that's been fun. So.
Wow. Well, send us post pictures on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll get to see. Have you already done that? Like posted your pictures of cabinets?
I don't think Twitter has seen that yet, but Instagram has for sure. So
okay, I'm gonna have to see. Look, I can't keep up with Instagram. All right, so great to have you guys on the show, Doug. What's happening with the Denver ukulele community?
Well, our May meeting is May 1st. It's Star Wars themed to get you ready for May the 4th. That's going to be awesome. Speaking of that, there is a link in the show notes to the cabinet door that sounds like Chewbacca. So I was going to ask Aaron, what tone would you use to get the best Chewbacca voice with your cabinet doors?
Oh man, I'd say mahogany.
Very good.
Yeah. That was the right answer? Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Okay. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for helping us celebrate the 10th anniversary. We're going to have, hey, Lucy, you're back on. I can see you now. Hey, wait a minute. Now, show us your hair, because usually you have something. Is it what? Oh, no, you froze up. Oh, You're gonna have to stop the video again.
It's red. My hair's red today.
Red today. All right. Yep. Awesome. Didn't you have a blue phase? Am I imagining? Okay.
I did.
See, I pay attention to at least Twitter. If you post. Yeah. Man. And wait a minute. That must be a recent photo you're showing, because your hair is red there too in the photo you're showing. Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And as we do on our show, on the count of 3, let's all say aloha. Oh, and by the way, next week we're going to have another live show. It's going to be the continuation. So I guess it's going to be episode 100.5 or something. I don't know. It's technically 101, but we'll do something. All right. Okay, guys, let's do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. Aloha.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great.
You guys,
thanks so much.
You guys rock.
Love you guys.
All right. We'll see you later.